Hey art fans, Butch Hartman here. How you guys doing? The perfect cartoon. What makes the perfect cartoon? Well, I'm going to start talking about that, but before I do, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and also don't forget to brush your teeth, because you know why? People will want to be your friend. They won't run from you anymore. The perfect cartoon. What makes the perfect cartoon? Can there be such a thing as a perfect cartoon? I mean, we all have different opinions, right? I mean, I might think a cartoon is perfect. Hashtag Fairly Odd Parents. I might think, you know, another cartoon is perfect. Hashtag Danny Phantom. But there's other people out there that might not agree. They might, you know, not like those other cartoons that I like. And there's things that you might like that other people don't. We don't really know what the perfect cartoon is. So we're going to say there really isn't one. However, we're going to examine some aspects of some cartoons that are kind of perfect. And maybe by the end, we'll see if we can just combine all the elements into the perfect cartoon. What do you guys think about that? But before we get going, the criteria for this list is going to be cartoons that started as cartoons on television. These are television cartoons, not derived from comic books, not derived from movies, not derived from any previous source material. Just started straight up as TV cartoons, and that's what we're going to go for. So the elements of any great cartoon are going to consist of the following: characters or character design, music, setting, premise, and art direction. And one other thing I want to get very, very clear about what I'm about to mention: this is Butch Hartman's opinion only. I am not authorized by the government or any animation agency to give official information or official opinions. This is just me making a YouTube video saying what I think about these particular cartoons. Are we clear? They're gonna throw things. Okay, number one element of the perfect cartoon. Let's start looking at some character. If you think about it, even though a cartoon might look amazing, like visually, doesn't always necessarily mean it's going to be the best cartoon, because the characters really aren't developed that well. I mean, there used to be a cartoon in the newspaper. You know, the funny papers back when the Yanks won the pennant in the 1930s. The newspaper. There was a comic strip called The Far Side. I absolutely loved The Far Side. The Far Side was created by a comic artist named Gary Larson, and it wasn't the best drawn comic strip in the world, but it was certainly one of the funniest. And that always stood out to me. I mean, even though it wasn't the best drawn comic strip in the world, it was one of the funniest, and I wanted to read it all the time. Same with a great cartoon. It might not look the greatest, but you're going to want to watch it all the time because the characters are so great. So what are some of the greatest characters in cartoon history? I mean, there's so many. You already know a bunch of them. I'm sure you're thinking about a bunch of them in your head. There's great superheroes. There's great comic characters that are funny. There's also great comic characters that have been brought to life in animation, you know? And there's also some amazing heroines out there that have been brought to life that are not only beautiful, but extremely strong-willed and very, very powerful female characters. There's some amazing animal characters, aliens, all that stuff. But for this list, I thought one of the most well-developed characters or family of characters is The Simpsons. I think The Simpsons are some of the best developed characters in the history of animation.
I just think they're neat.
Number one, they've had a very, very long time to be around. The audience has fallen in love with them over many years. I mean, you've got generations of people that have watched The Simpsons. It's been on since 1989. So that's going on, that's 30 years now the cartoon's been on. And you're talking, you know, kids that were just born are now 30 growing up with The Simpsons. And so it's just a great array of characters. Not only the main cast, Homer, Marge, Maggie, Bart, the main family is awesome. We all know them very, very well. But the side characters on that show are so well developed. You know, there's Apu, Mr. Burns, Smithers, Ned Flanders, hey diddly diddly doodly diddly doodly diddly diddly diddly. The aliens, you know, Principal Skinner, Marge's sisters. The list goes on and on and on. You can really, really just fall in love with any of the Simpsons characters, and they all have all these amazing quotable lines too. That's one sign of a great character, when they have lines people can quote.
Woohoo! I'm a college man! I won't need my high school diploma anymore! I am too smart! I am too smart! I am too smart! I am too smart! S-M-R-T! I mean S-M-A-R-T!
When I was making Fairly Odd Parents and all the other shows I was making at Nickelodeon, I strived and hoped we could write comedy as good as The Simpsons, because the comedy writing on that show is so great, and the characters are so well developed. When it first came out as a series of short cartoons on the Tracy Ullman show way back in the late 80s on Fox, when Fox first became a network, The Simpsons were like these little 1 to 2 minute short cartoons. And Homer Simpson talked like this, and he was kind of angry all the time. And no, he's kind of this complete idiot who he's just like a blithering moron. Oh, gee, Marge, I can't wear a pink shirt character work. I'm not popular enough to be different. It's just cool to see those characters go from where they started to where they are now. So I think for perfect characters, I'm not saying they're perfect, but they're pretty darn close to being some of the best developed characters in animation history. So this goes to The Simpsons. Another element of the perfect cartoon would be an awesome, cool setting for the cartoon to take place in. Think about it, when you're making a movie, you need to build a set, or 2, or 3, or 5, whatever. Or stand in front of a green screen to create a set behind you. I would never stand in front of a green screen, ever. Or would I? Anyway, so we got to come up with a very cool setting, and some of the best settings in cartoon history, I think, again, just Butch Hartman's opinion, exist in the show of SpongeBob SquarePants. I think SpongeBob has got some amazing, cool-looking settings. And number one, what I love about SpongeBob, it takes place underwater, which is a realm, it's sort of like outer space, because humans don't really go deep underwater that often for that, you know, many great lengths of time. I know some people do. People go down in these bathyspheres and they wear these, you know, scuba outfits. Those kids with their scuba outfits, you crazy kids with the scuba! We don't really go underwater that much, so we really don't know what's down there. And it's like outer space. You can make up your own rules. What I love about SpongeBob, they've really made up their own rules. I just love the way it's not just a typical underwater, like undersea bed with just plants and stuff. There's actual houses down there. There's towns. There's cities. There's little boat cars. There's jellyfishing fields. You've got SpongeBob's house, which is a pineapple. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
Absorbent and yellow and porous is he.
Right, exactly. You know, you got, you know, see? There's Squidward's house, there's the Krusty Krab, there's the Chum Bucket for Plankton, yes! I think the setting of Bikini Bottom is one filled with complete expansiveness. It's not limited. Yes, you have your little area where the main SpongeBob characters live, but they can always keep adding to the world, which is really, really fun. And also, the undersea world is very colorful. I think it's super imaginative, and, you know, just judging by the success of SpongeBob, I think we've proven that it really resonates with an audience. So my vote, Butch Hartman's vote only, my opinion, for one of the coolest and almost perfect settings for a cartoon is Bikini Bottom from SpongeBob. All right, another element that would create the perfect cartoon is the perfect music. People don't realize how important music is to animation. Having worked in animation for many, many years, I know what it's like to get an animated episode back with no music on it at all. It's just the animation and the dialogue, and you're looking at a very boring cartoon because there's no music. So the great thing about music is that once it's added on top of the cartoon, it takes the entertainment level of that cartoon from here to here. Music is all important, and there's been so much great music in animation. This was really hard to choose from, but I'm gonna go back a ways for this one. Maybe some of you will agree, some of you won't agree, but hey, it's my channel. I get to say what I want, right? Hey, my pick for some of the most perfect music in a cartoon, and you're probably gonna, you know, maybe raise your eyebrow about this one, doing, is Scooby Doo. Scooby Doo from 1969, when I was very young. Scooby Doo would come on. It's got a great theme song.
Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you? We got some work to do now.
And the cool thing about Scooby Doo was it had some great, you know, eerie music, some suspenseful music, some great themes that ran throughout. Not only the Scooby-Doo theme, but whenever the kids would be chased or chase a ghost, they would break into just a pop song.
Well, it's Saturday morning. Don't know what to do since Monday morning. I've been dreaming about you. Yeah.
So as a kid growing up, the music meant a lot to me, and that's part of the reason I tuned into that show, was to hear what cool songs they would play. And also, Hanna-Barbera knew this about animation. They even had shows entirely based on music. You know, Josie and the Pussycats was one back then where they were just a rock band, you know, on an adventure solving mysteries. I guess when you get into a rock band or have a dog, you just solve mysteries in the Hanna-Barbera world. We should get a dog in here and solve some mysteries.
On it.
All right, so my vote for some of the nearly most perfect music for a cartoon, again, not saying it's totally perfect, in my opinion, is Scooby Doo from way back in the 60s, because the music meant a lot to the show. It meant a lot to me, meant a lot to people growing up with the show, and the theme song was top notch. Theme songs mean a lot. All right, what else makes up the perfect cartoon? We've had character design, we've had setting, we've had music, and of course we need the premise. What is the premise of the cartoon? What's the overall story of the cartoon? What are some of the best cartoon premises out there? There's too many to even name. So just think of your favorite cartoon premise, some, just a great cartoon. You're like,
wow, what a cool idea for a cartoon. I wish I'd thought of that.
As a cartoon creator myself, I thought of some fun stuff that I thought was fun, but there's been a lot of cartoons out there that I've looked at going, oh, well, that's not the greatest premise in the world. That could have been done better. Or, wow, there's a premise I wish I'd thought of. There's a few of those out there, and one of the cartoons I wish I'd thought of, because I'm a superhero fan, I'm a sci-fi fan, you guys know some of the stuff I love. I really love this cartoon. In fact, this is the first cartoon, I think, where I said, I wish I'd thought of that. And the cartoon is Ben 10. It's the show about a young boy named Ben who comes into contact with this wristband watch thingy, pre-iWatch by the way, way ahead of its time, called the Omnitrix, and it's got 10 settings on it. With each setting, he can turn into a different alien monster.
Oh my gosh!
Ben, are you okay?
I'm better than okay. Forearms, accelerate! No aliens!
Those guys did an amazing job. They're called Man of Action. They're a collection of humans that thought of this show. I'd love to get them on my channel someday and maybe interview those guys and see just what they, what they were thinking when they thought of the show. I want to get some cartoon creators in here and speak to them. What would you guys think about that? Would you want to hear some behind the scenes stuff about other cartoons? Let me know down in the comment section. Also, I think Ben 10 has proven what a great premise it is because it's expanded into so many other different incarnations of itself. They've expanded it into different versions of Ben 10. They did a live action movie of Ben 10, and it really is kind of the premise it just keeps on giving. So for me, my vote for one of the best premises, one of the most perfect premises out there for a cartoon is Ben 10. Okay, and the last element needed for the perfect cartoon is the art direction. What does the cartoon look like? What does the cartoon feel like? How is it presented to the audience? And there are so many examples of how cartoons can be presented differently. You've got stuff from Jimmy Neutron, Phineas and Ferb, Paw Patrol, Samurai Jack, the list goes on and on. How is a cartoon presented? How does it look? Now, before I go into this explanation, I had another cartoon in mind for this being the perfect way to present a cartoon. Again, this is just my opinion. But as we were researching all this stuff, my associate producer over here, Jace, right, Jace? Woo! Jace, right, calm down, Jace, it's all right. Jace showed me a cartoon that I had never seen before. I'd heard of it, never watched it, and I know it's like Butch Hartman, animation guy, I didn't watch this cartoon. Heard of it, but it came and went so quick, I think it was a little bit unfair. And when I looked at this cartoon, I moved my other cartoon off the list for now, and I'm gonna say this, to me, is one of the best looking cartoons I've ever seen, and it's a shame that it went away so quickly. And that cartoon is Pen Zero, Part-Time Hero. This cartoon, to me, I just watched the title sequence just the day I'm filming this, as a matter of fact. This cartoon, Pen Zero, looks so great. It has sort of a 2D, 3D vibe, which is kind of what they're doing now with Into the Spider-Verse, but this is a little bit before. And I know the creators of this cartoon must have just loved working on this because it looks just amazing. And I want to give it some credit where credit is due. To me, Pen Zero, Part-Time Hero is one of the best looking cartoons I've ever seen. The cool thing about the artwork from Pen Zero, Part-Time Hero is that some cartoons try and be stylized, and in attempting to be stylized, sometimes they'll over-stylize things to such a degree that it sort of takes you out of the story. Like I've seen several cartoons where it's like instead of drawing an actual cup, like a teacup in the character's hand, they'll over-stylize the teacup so much and use so many anti-shapes for a teacup that your mind goes, what am I looking at? And you're completely pulled out of the story. But Pen Zero not only looks great, I think the art actually helps to elevate the story because this kid has to go into so many different dimensions.
Heroes rise to the challenge and always save the day. Except when they don't. And that's when I go to work. I zap in 2 dimensions every day. It's my job to be a hero, save the world, and make things right.
The artwork really does what it's supposed to do, and that is moving the story forward. So congrats, Pen Zero. So I guess for the perfect cartoon for this episode anyway, you'd have the premise from Ben 10 with the characters from The Simpsons, with the music from Scooby Doo, living in the land of Bikini Bottom, and looking like the show Pen Zero Part-Time Hero. But here's some honorable mentions, some other cartoons that I was considering before I made the final list. I love the way Samurai Jack looks. That has some great, amazing artwork. I think you guys all know that. I love the music from Gravity Falls. Fantastic music. I thought that was wonderful music to choose from. I also love the characters from Dexter's Laboratory and from Adventure Time. I think those are great cartoons as well. I love the characters and character designs from all the Warner Brothers cartoons. For short cartoons, they really developed those characters amazingly over the years. Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Wile E. Coyote, the list goes on and on. I love the music from Johnny Quest, Hanna-Barbera back in the day. Really cool stuff. I also love Space Ghost too. Great music there and great character designs too. And for settings, I love Adventure Time, Land of Ooh. Extremely cool looking stuff there. Also, I love Fish Hooks. The way it looks, art direction, and the setting is really, really nice. So there, in my opinion, that would make a perfect cartoon. Plus those honorable mentions are really cool. There's so many other cartoons I couldn't even mention in this video simply because there just wasn't enough time. So what are some of your favorite characters, settings, music, art? Let me know down in the comment section below. And should I do more of these videos, like, you know, breaking down what makes a perfect cartoon, because there's so many others out there. Maybe I'll do one about movie cartoons, animated movies. Maybe we'll do that next time around. Or maybe we'll do one about what makes the perfect cartoon character and just focus on characters. What do you guys think? Let me know. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. This has been Butch Hartman, cartoon breaker downer guy, person who is just, hey, just out here drawing some stuff. Look, I'm drawing in the air. Look at that. Boom. There it is. All right. Don't forget, art gives you power. Use it wisely. Hey Heart fans, subscribe here to keep up with me, Danny, Timmy, Dudley, Bunsen, and the Noog Network, my new app full of cartoons, shows, and games. Download it here. Click over here to watch my most recent video, and here to start a playlist related to this video. Whoa, check out that awesome fan art. To be featured here, use hashtag HeartFanArt and tag me. I'm on every social media platform known to man. Cartoon Butch out. Pencil drop.